What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So this is a story that kind of snuck up on me, man. I had heard some rumblings about this. I want to say Thursday evening into Friday, and I really started hearing about this yesterday morning. And that was the disappearance of this young woman right here named Carlee Russell. And I believe she lives in Alabama. I forget exactly which city in Alabama, but she lives in Alabama.
Just those agonizing hours
I'm on
and
her
days
website right now looking at some information. I think it's Hoover, Alabama. Hoover, Alabama. And she was driving home from work Thursday night when she phoned police dispatchers to report a toddler walking on the side of the interstate. Now, I think that's pivotal because if this was like some type of scam or whatever the hell some people are trying to put out there on social media, they're trying to make it like she's doing some Jussie Smollett type thing. I'll get in that in a moment. But she called the police, and she was on the phone. Apparently, I think what I was reading, she was on the phone with her brother's girlfriend. And she reported and said that she saw a toddler walking on the side of the interstate, which would be extraordinarily strange, right? And yeah, I think anybody would react if you're on an interstate, and it's at night, and on the side of the interstate. And usually, a lot of times when you're on the interstate, there's wooded area, okay, and it's dark and all of that. So yeah, any compassionate human being, knowing that there's a toddler that's at risk, would probably get out. Yeah, they probably would, because you're not thinking. You're thinking and plus she's a woman, so yes, her nurturing, protective, motherly instinct kicked in, and she came out. She went in the car and tried to rescue this kid, right? But unfortunately, we have demons and devils in our society who use children and will use your humanity against you as bait. And this is often how human trafficking is conducted, unfortunately. Now, I don't know the details in this situation. I don't. But it appears that she was kidnapped. And a lot of us feared the worst. Because I really didn't start reading about the story until yesterday, when a friend of mine told me about this. So I was elated when I found out that she was found alive. Now, this is where people are getting it confused. They're talking about, well, how did she show up at home if she was kidnapped? How did that happen? Well, part of the problem is, and this is what part of the problem is, and this is why more of these types of cases should be publicized. Usually nobody gives a fuck about a black woman. That's part of it. That's why there have been 415 kids that were abducted, or at least missing, in the month of May in Ohio. A good percentage of them black or Latino. Or poor whites. Because nobody cares about these kids. But we'll spend, and I'm guilty of this as well, we'll spend a whole week agonizing about the fate of billionaires who do the stupid act of going 14,000 feet underwater to see a bunch of bones and a wrecked ship in the Titanic. Now, why did I do that? Because I care. I'm compassionate. I don't like to see people lose their lives unnecessarily. But at the same time, the media didn't show the same energy for those hundreds of migrants who sank to their deaths in that ship. And I noticed a lot of people not even talking about this. And what's even sadder is Not only are there people who are accusing her of pulling a Jussie Smollett, more or less, they're accusing her of basically, from what I could gather, a lot of them are saying she did something salacious, and to cover her tracks, she invented this cockeyed story, this cockeyed kidnapping story, when the evidence doesn't, nothing suggests that. What the evidence suggests is that her kidnappers got cold feet because of all of the attention that this case got. So I think that they got cold feet and they let her go. That's what I think happened. They let her go. But I still think she went through a traumatic experience. We don't know what happened to her. It's really none of our fucking business, to be honest with you. I mean, it's amazing to me. It's almost like some people, I think, would have preferred that she got killed. Because very few people seem to be actually happy that this woman didn't lose her life. And the fact that we have been conditioned to think that everything is a scam, this is all just smoke and mirrors, this is just a distraction tactic. It's fucked up how a lot of us have lost our humanity, our compassion. All we see is our disjointed, negative, and distorted view of everything. We know that this shit happens. We know that there's human trafficking going on in this country. We know this shit. But then when we have a situation where the most vulnerable portion of our society that's being hit by this, which is black women and black girls, when it's individualized, we don't want to show compassion. But we got a stat sheet to show the numbers. We're real passionate about it. So at the end of the day, man, I'm just glad this girl was found safe. And until I see evidence otherwise, I'm going to believe what has been said. I know one thing. I remember 30 years ago, I think it was 1993 or 1994, when Susan Smith went out there, and remember, this was August. I want to say it was August of 94 or 93. I know it was in the summer. But I remember Susan Smith claimed that a black man kidnapped her kids. Now, she's in the car, right? Now, remember, this is like July or August of 93 in like South Carolina. It's hot as fuck. She said that a black man in a coat and a knit cap with a knife told her to get out of her car, and he stole her car with the kids in it. Then, if you believe the series of events that would happen, he drove the car. Well, actually, this was what I found out later on, but if you believe what she said, he then would go on to drive the car into a lake and kill the kids, delete the kids, and get rid of the car. For what? But just the whole kidnapping thing, even then, when I was 13 or 14 years old, it didn't make any sense to me. First of all, I know how fucking hot it gets in the summer in Virginia, let alone South Carolina. Why is a guy walking around with a knit cap on and a coat? Makes no sense. It was the hottest time of the year. 90, almost 100 degrees. You got a knit cap on? Knit? Then, you know, the whole story didn't make any sense to me, right? But very few people doubted her veracity who heard this story. Everybody was like compassionate. Everybody was quick to believe what she had to say because it fits the stereotype. But I could sense then there was bullshit. And you know who else believed it was bullshit? Police. But the media went along with it. I'm already noticing people in the media are casting doubts about what happened. They're saying, well, she claimed to have seen a toddler, and there are holes in her story, and there are, questions about her disappearance. They're already planting some seeds of doubt in this young girl's story, so people can talk about it and it could extend as a story for a while. You know what I'm saying? That's just so fucked up because that young girl just went through a trauma. The family went through a trauma where they thought that young girl was dead. And the media, that's why I can't stand the Fourth Estate. I can't stand them for the most part. But it is what it is. And I know there's going to be people in the comment section, they're going to tell me, oh, you've been duped by the black woman. The black woman this and all that. And I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Black women and black men are full of shit when it comes to relationships and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of trifling ass dudes out here just as much as trifling women. So anyway, I'm done with this, man. Tell me what you guys think.